everyone. This is Ben from Boss Construction, your South Florida permitting and code compliance specialist. I have today over here Kevin Jean. What's up, man?
How are you, man?
Jean or John?
Jean.
Jean.
Yeah, just call me Kevin.
That's my wife's maiden name.
Wow.
Jean.
Wow.
I've been in the field a lot with my permitting and code compliance, and I also represent many insurance companies on defense and homeowners claims. And before we met at an ARAB event, at a real estate event.
Yeah.
And I always tell people to come to the real estate events because you'll meet good professionals, usually in those circles, who are owner-operators like Kevin and I.
Correct.
Who do a great level of service. So we met in Lauderhill.
Correct.
At Lalu's.
Correct.
With Mayor Holness.
That is
then Vice Mayor.
Now Mayor.
Now Mayor Holness of Broward County. He was speaking over there at the time. And it was a phenomenal opportunity to connect. From then, we started working together. I learned about some of the claims you're handling. Over the past year, I've learned how you do business.
Correct.
And what's really attracted me to you, to what you do, specifically, is I was wowed because I haven't really seen a public adjuster who walks the walk, talks the talk, is knowledgeable about both ends. And what I've basically seen in the field we've discussed, which we're telling our viewers about today, is some of these PAs, they want to take everything. They'll take everything. They'll be at networking groups saying, if your fence is messed up or your plumbing under your sink is leaking, give us a call. So they're out there actually trying to train people to look for problems in their property to open claims. And everything that you've taught me, that's not the right way to go about the business.
No. Whenever you have a problem, it should be a sudden accidental loss. You shouldn't have to make up anything or go looking for anything. It's sudden and accidental. That's what your policy is there to cover. Your policy is not a maintenance policy to maintain your home. It's there in case you have a loss.
And what's really amazing, and my sister-in-law, she represents homeowners as well, is an attorney. But you told me a lot of times, if you have that skilled public adjuster, it's not going to go to that lawsuit.
Correct.
And you gave me a really, really good quote the other day. Actually, a couple weeks ago when we were eating, you said that you don't need to shoot an ant with a shotgun.
Correct. You don't need a shotgun to shoot an ant.
You don't need a shotgun to shoot an ant.
You don't.
So again, the reason I see many PAs there who then have to get attorneys to open lawsuits because they have shitty claims.
Not necessarily. Not necessarily because the claim's not great.
Or because they can't represent.
Well,
or the insurance company's being too aggressive.
It could be a combination of things. But if you're fair and you're honest, you should have a higher rate of being able to close out your claims without having to get an attorney involved.
I wonder why all these companies, Honest, Reliable, Lien Search, who we work with, they all have that in the name, and it really sticks. And I've seen a lot of large companies out there with many public adjusters working for them. You don't really see the same stuff going on. They mainly seem like ambulance chasers, house fire chasers. They seem like some people just, and I'm not bad. I clearly, in construction insurance claims, very quickly when I learned what a public adjuster does, I said, wait, there's a need for these people because the insurance company has an adjuster, the way I understand it. I've seen homeowners and property owners try and represent themselves.
And a lot of the times that doesn't go over so well. So just a little bit about me. Many years ago, I started working at law firms. Working at law firms ultimately led me to working at insurance companies. I worked at 3 different insurance companies.
Those law firms were the clients?
Those law firms were the
insurance company?
That is correct.
Because most people, I was just telling the viewers, it's very technical. Most people don't.
Correct. They were insurance defense law firms. So somebody would have an issue, or a client of the insurance insurance company would have an issue, and the insurance company would hire the law firm in order to represent the policyholder.
Yeah.
So I was working at law firms, and then after working at law firms, I ended up working at different insurance companies. Did that for over 10 years, and one day the light bulb went off in my head. And I said, you know what? Let me gather up the knowledge and experience that I've gained, and let me help the little guy. And start representing the people and not the powerful.
The actual policyholder.
The actual policyholder.
And I mean, sort of like, you see in the legal world where the prosecutor, like on Law and Order, they go and then they decide to be a defender.
Yes.
But no, and that to me is like a really cool transition, because I can relate to that, because when I worked for the city, then I said, hey, I want to represent people on the other side of the counter. I don't want to process permits, review plans.
Yeah.
I want to submit plans and
help people to get them approved.
Help people get them approved,
Yeah.
and do the right thing, essentially.
Definitely.
But that not only makes a good background, but it's really sincere.
Yeah, definitely. It's very sincere. And another part of my
it's very deep,
and it's personal as well.
You have a lot of passion, and I talked to you about that.
Yeah, definitely. You have to make sure that you level with people on a human level. It's not all about money. You have to make sure that you give them good advice. Most of my day is spent just giving advice and consulting,
screening, calls.
Definitely.
Giving
advice. For example, here's a piece of advice I tell people: if you ever have a loss, do not get rid of the evidence. Keep it. The insurance company has a right.
So don't throw away the tile falling.
No. Do not throw anything away.
Baseboards.
Do not do that. Keep it. The insurance adjuster needs to see it. Get their permission before you discard it. Get their permission. You have to get their permission.
Don't sign the AOBs, the assignment of benefits.
Well, it depends. It depends, because you also have a duty to mitigate. You have to mitigate your loss.
You have to do the cleanup, and whether it's fire or water.
You can't allow the damage to get worse. Whatever happened, if it's,
you have to preserve your property.
You have to preserve your property. Save the evidence, but also if it's a leak per se, if you have to shut off the water, shut off the water. Don't allow it to get worse. It's a duty to mitigate. You must mitigate your damage.
And if you were living in the house, or even not living in the house, you'd want to mitigate, because I know if you don't clean up water right away, many days later, if it's under a laminate floor and you hear the squish squashing, again, many days after, you'll see mold start to
Correct.
form.
That's correct.
And you'll have air quality issues.
That's correct. That's correct.
And so I know that. And also I get involved with remediators, because remediators are not allowed to do construction and putback.
That's correct.
Their license is specifically to do air protocols if they have the testing license, and also remediate if they have that license.
Correct. That's correct.
And we're just looking for checks and balances. I get a lot of, we don't want the remediators doing the work, testing their own work.
Correct.
So we're seeing all sorts of things in the industry, and why we're seeing all sorts of things in the industry, I think, is because this industry is highly lucrative.
Correct.
And there is a huge vacuum in South Florida. So when I was even working at the city, before I got into construction and real estate, I saw a lot of water mitigation companies running around the street, coming to the city.
Fly by nights.
Yeah, and again, keep in mind, these guys, a lot of them don't get paid money until the insurance pays them directly, or the homeowner gets the money. So what I thought interesting about that, you have a high profitable business.
Yes.
You have a transient place like South Florida.
Yes.
And so you're attracting, different types of groups of people to represent homeowners, property owners, and specifically, I think some of them don't have the best interests of the client in mind.
Yeah, that's correct. Sometimes you get some shady people who see dollar signs.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily always.
Or they're looking for quantity and cases and not quality.
Quality,
We
yeah.
talked about
you definitely have to focus on the quality. When someone calls me, when a homeowner calls me and they have an issue, the first thing I do is I listen to their story. I listen to what they have to say. I apply facts. I apply logic to what they're saying to me. I don't just immediately, sign up every single claim. I take the time to actually investigate and to research what it is they're saying, so that way I can properly advocate for them.
Correct. Because essentially, you need to go over their policy.
Correct.
You need to go over their adjuster's report, and sometimes the existing conditions change 2 years later.
Yes.
So again, you've come into, and I could relate to this too. You come in through processes in the beginning, in the end, in the middle, you know, and again, hopefully, you know, the homeowner makes those right decisions on what to do.
Definitely. I definitely steer my clients to do the right thing, and I let them know from up front, you know, we're a team. We work together to get this done, and I need their full cooperation, their honesty, their trust, in order to be able to advocate for them.
How many, and you know, I always hear this battling back and forth between, you know, the insured and the insurance, the company, right?
Correct.
So both sides. The insurance company obviously wants to pay out as little money as possible.
Correct.
You know, like we discussed, like that guy in Incredibles and Pixar, sitting at the table and denying people's claims or undervaluing them. And then we have people like public adjusters who are licensed by the state.
Correct.
And they can come out and evaluate and represent people and negotiate on the adjuster to adjuster level.
Correct. That is correct. That is correct.
A lot of times we see negotiations, if there's no public adjuster involved, homeowner to adjuster, which that's what we want to try and prevent.
I do,
Not only because you're in the business, but because you have someone who is out-resourced you, knowledge is resource, time is a resource.
It's their job. It's literally their job to find.
And again, I've heard of homeowners handling their own claims, saying, you know what, I'm going to save the commission. I'm going to save the money. I'm going to handle this by myself. And the couple times, family members of mine, I saw doing it themselves. It was a job.
Wow.
It was
a full-time job.
It was a full-time job.
Wow.
Just to handle the claim. Well, they didn't have to obviously pay an adjuster, or there wasn't an attorney involved. They might have gotten more money and better representation and peace of mind
had they hired the right public adjuster, not just any, the right public adjuster.
The right public adjuster, and a lot of times when it's people's property, for example, if you're a realtor and you're selling a property, everyone takes it personally, meaning a seller or a property owner thinks that their property is worth more, or their claim is worth more.
Correct.
Or they have a situation that's so special. Well, every situation is unique and special. The thing that I want to stress is that when it's your own house, like, for example, when I have to negotiate rent with my landlord, it becomes personal.
It's very personal.
I'd rather have a professional do that for me. Even though I come from the real estate background. You know?
Definitely. You always want to make sure that you have a second set of eyes and somebody who's a professional who this is their forte. This is their area of what they do. So definitely.
So we talked about insurance claims. We talked about public adjusters. Specifically, what have you had as far as, worst case scenario outcomes? What have you had as, let's start with best case scenario outcomes for clients.
I'll just give you a recent example. I had a client.
And a lot of these I know, we can't, disclose location or client's name until everything's settled. And even after that, you have to have their permission.
Correct.
But I love talking about practical solutions.
Correct. I had a client recently who had a Hurricane Irma loss. This particular homeowner calls me one day and says, hey, you know what? The insurance company came out 3 years ago, told me that the claim was under deductible, and that homeowner's roof was leaking. And
so the insurance company, for our viewers at home and audience, they sometimes deny the claim and say it's below your deductible.
Correct.
To tell you to kind of go away.
Correct.
It kind of like you don't have a claim.
Which is actually better than outright denying it, because
they've at least
they've accepted coverage.
So they can deny.
They can deny.
They can accept
and say it's under deductible.
And they can accept and undervalue, which basically what that is.
Correct.
Yeah. Sorry to cut you off. I just want to.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So ultimately, I ended up going in there. I gave him my estimate, and we went back and forth for a little bit. But I got her a very, very, very good outcome, enough to repair her whole roof, her whole interior, and everything. And she's very, very thankful. And I was able to get that done within a few months.
So property back to whole.
Correct. Pre-loss condition.
Pre-loss condition.
That's correct.
That's a technical term.
Yeah.
Pre-loss condition.
Yeah.
And what's very interesting is, again, we talk about floor to floor, wall to wall, ceiling to ceiling coverage.
Yes.
If you have an open room, the insurance company is required to give you pre-loss condition.
That's correct.
And you can't just spray something with kills and be like, hey, you need to actually, because the mortgage company, everyone has a stake in this.
That's correct. That's
and
correct.
so you need to preserve the property. Depending on the amount of the claim, there's inspections that are involved.
That's correct.
The insurance company wants to make sure that they're giving money to a licensed contractor.
Correct.
And they're actually doing the work that the insurance company is paying them to do the work.
That's correct. And there's no, you shouldn't be painting over mold, because here's the concept. If you paint over mold, essentially what you're doing is, by painting over the mold, is you're basically, using, Orajel on a tooth that has a Band-Aid on a bullet wound. You can't put a Band-Aid on a bullet wound.
Yeah.
You can't, if you have a tooth that has a cavity, you have to go to the dentist to get it properly filled. Just dealing with the pain, you're only dealing with the symptom, but you're not actually dealing with the actual issue at hand. So you need to properly remediate that mold.
Whether the water's coming from the roof, the exterior wall.
Correct.
And what also we've seen a lot is property maintenance issues, and I know that's a part of where insurance companies deny. For example, if the homeowner doesn't paint the house, or they don't, repair the cracks in the stucco,
It'll be considered wear and tear.
And there's water. So those are like things that happen all the time.
It happens.
Right?
It happens. But you have to maintain your home.
If you see someone that has property maintenance issues, and the claim is going to get denied, that's obviously not a claim that your firm wants to take.
Yeah, we won't take it. Not that we don't want to. We definitely won't take it. If I take a look at your policy and I take a look at the damage and I apply science and logic to it, and I see that it's something that's existed for a very long time that you just failed to fix, I definitely won't take that claim.
Do you do commercial and things like that?
Yes.
Like commercial.
Yes, definitely.
Work for associations. Or
Definitely.
Things like that?
Yes. I definitely do work for associations, commercial work. I take a look at all different types of policies. I've looked at $5 million church building policies, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So not just homes, commercial policies as well.
And commercial policies, pretty much. I mean, we talked about mitigating recently. I went through, for example, commercial shopping owners. I do site plan code violation cases. They don't have stop bars. They have like water that's trickling on the walkway with mold growing on it.
Wow.
Someone's going to slip.
Wow.
So again, with your background, working for the law firms that represent the insurance companies.
And then going to work inside the insurance companies.
And then going to work inside the insurance companies.
Correct. And now representing the policy.
Phenomenal.
Thank you.
What do you, I know you mentioned you did auto, property, right?
Property, mainly property. Yeah.
And also, what is, more of a technical question. So sometimes the insurance companies, they have their own adjusters, they have their own attorneys, and then sometimes they sub out and get another attorney.
Correct. They send the cases out to outside counsel. Insurance companies send cases out to outside counsel. Sometimes when they feel like they can't settle it with their in-house legal team, they'll then take it and send it out to the outside counsel and pay them either a flat fee or an hourly rate.
And one question I always had, because really important, people were like, how do public adjusters get paid? They get paid a difference on a percentage of what they help you collect, right?
Yeah, a public adjuster gets paid up to 20% by law of a claim that you have. It's illegal to go over 20%. You can never be charged.
So it's 20% of, if you started in the beginning, it's 20% of the whole claim. If you started in the middle, it's 20% of what you How does that work?
I just want to confirm that I understand what you're saying. When you say started in the beginning, you mean?
I mean, for example, some people try and start claims on their
own. Okay.
Some public adjusters I've even seen take over other public adjusters' screw-ups.
Correct.
So is it 20% of always the total claim, where you take it over in the process?
Realistically, every public adjuster is going to operate differently. The way that I operate is I don't want a percentage of something.
We're talking to you, man.
Okay. I don't want to take a percentage of something that I did not help you recover. I'll only take a percentage of what I helped you recover.
That's honest.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So if you had $5,000 or $10,000 that you got on your own before bringing me on board, I am not entitled to a percentage of that. Other public adjusters might view it differently. They might tell you differently, but I will not take something that I didn't work for. It's not fair.
And what's really important to me when I work with homeowners, they're always talking about how their claim took a long time, maybe because they did file a suit. So you kind of approach it from when we spoke. You kind of approach it on like a top-down, pyramid, upside-down pyramid, if you will, where you're funneling the least invasive things.
Correct.
And then escalating.
Correct.
Which we referred to the shotgun and the ants.
Correct. Yeah.
You don't. So, what is a percentage? I mean, what's a percentage of claims that you've taken that you've settled yourself?
I'd say the vast majority. I'd say over 70% of claims can be settled myself without the need to send it to any attorney or anyone.
And escalate it, because when you escalate it with a lawsuit, then the homeowner is waiting more time.
Correct.
Usually because there's depositions and litigation,
yeah.
all the litigations.
Yeah, all the litigations.
All the litigations. Arbitration, litigation. Yeah, so no, but that's kind of interesting to me.
Definitely.
So again, when you see on the side of the road, on the side of the highway, a company like who just does personal injury law, and now a hurricane comes and they decide to do property. I mean, what is that, man? They're just buying a billboard. They know that Irma came, and we know in the industry, claims happen 6 months, 8 months after the event. So they're all like trying to prepare themselves in this market that they've never represented before, that they've never done before. They're trying to approach property claims like personal injury claims.
And you shouldn't do that.
What do you think about that?
I think that's it's a little scary. It's a little scary. You wouldn't go to your podiatrist, which is your foot doctor, for a heart condition or something wrong with your brain. You want to go to somebody who specializes in what they do, somebody who's done it for many years, someone like me, a public adjuster who's worked on the inside of insurance companies, who actually has the experience and the knowledge and the background to best handle your matter.
And no, that's phenomenal, man.
Definitely.
That's like, and how long have you been? I know you've had experience on the other side, but how long have you been with your own firm and organization for?
I started my public adjusting firm last year, but again, it's after 10 to 15 years of working inside of the insurance companies and different law firms.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, I have Kevin Jean here from Honest Lien Adjusting. Again, amazing topic we're talking about. And a topic that I like because people normally don't talk about this on video.
Never.
This is something that affects every property owner, like open permits and code violations. I want to thank Reliable Lien Search, our sponsor, and all of our viewers. Again, what I'm trying to do is, if I represent property owners at the city and I see beneficial practitioners and professionals that will represent property owners on insurance claims, I want to say, hey, there's someone really good to use out here.
Definitely.
And that's why I've identified Kevin, and I'm really excited to have him here today. If you like this video, please like our Facebook page, like our YouTube channel, Boss Construction Group. like good people, like Kevin Jean.
Honest Line Adjusting.
Honest Line
is our Instagram.
Instagram,
Yeah,
and social media.
Honest Line Adjusting.
And what that does is what Kevin and I do is when we're in the field, when we have a resolved case to talk about, when we have an open case to talk about, something that we want to share with the public on the experiences, we put those up there for you to view. So contact us at any time, and thank you so much. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Sorry about
Kevin. All right, talk to you guys soon. Thanks.